Namaskar. Welcome to the example number 2 under the chapter number 4, birth time rectification. Like the previous example, in this example also, we are going to analyze a birth chart and verify and rectify the birth time just by verifying with one event, important life event. Let us examine how we are going to do that. This is the birth chart of a female native who was born on 5th September 1983 at 5:33 p.m. in Calcutta, West Bengal. The given time is 5:33 p.m. The known important life event of this native was abroad travel for higher studies. The native traveled abroad for higher studies in 2009 October. This is the important event the native has given, and we are going to verify whether the period in which the October 2009, which periods are running Dasa, Bhukthi, and Antra, they are strongly supportive for such travel abroad, the to first travel abroad. As per EPS, the Bugdi Lord for the abroad travel, for the first travel abroad, Bugdi Lord should be the strongest one. Dasa Lord should support, indicate, and Bugdi should be the strongest one, and Antra also should support. That we have to check now. Prior to that, what we have to do, according to the event, what we are going to verify, that houses connected to that event, we have to verify whether those cuspal houses, sublots of those cusps are in the border. Actually, we have to check all the 12 cusp sublots are which are in the border. Importantly, the primary cuspal rulers, both favorable and unfavorable cuspal sublots, are whether they are in the border. Border in the sense whether it is in the suppose 1 minute increase, it can increase by increasing 1 minute, it can change the sublot, or by 2 minutes, 3 minutes reduction, or can change the sublots. That we have to check whether they are in the margin, whether they are in the border, right? Now, and also if any cuspal sublots are in the ruled by the shorter duration sublots, also we have to keep it in mind. Now, for the abroad travel, which are the favorable important primary houses, third house, ninth house, and 12th house. So we have to look at the third cuspal sublot and ninth cuspal sublot and 12th sublot. And of course, the unfavorable cuspal sublots are, for example, eighth house is important. And this is most important. Eighth sublot, we have to keep it in whether they are giving any changes or any reduction or increase in the birth time, any impact or having on the eighth sublot. And also we can look at the 2 also and 4 also, because 4 sublot we cannot take it as a strongest unfavorable, because now the event is for the studies. So the 4th house also one of the house for the source for the studies. But grouping of 4-8 can cause obstacles or not favoring for the travel abroad. But important trouble giving house is 8th house and 2-8 grouping. Then let us check that. Now let us focus on the primary favorable houses. Third cusp. Third cuspal sublord is Mercury. Subsublord is Venus. So it is not in the border. It needs to be 2-3 minutes or 3-4 minutes. If you reduce only, the Mercury will change, because subsublord is Venus, right? Next one is the ninth sublord. Ninth sublord is Mercury, subsublord is Venus, the same situation. Then 12th sublord is Mars, subsublord is Moon. It means it is in the ending stage. Mars is Sublord of the 12th house is Mars, sub-sublord is Moon. Just by increasing 1 minute, just 1 minute increase in the birth time, this Mars can change to Rahu, right? But there will not be any impact on the ninth sublord and third sublord. That we have to keep it in mind. Then what about eighth sublord? Eighth sublord is Sun. Sun. So increase in the birth time, there will not any impact on the sun. Just till by 3 minutes increase, there will not be any change in the eighth sublord. But by decrease by 1 minute minimum, that eighth sublord can change from sun to Venus. So decrease in the birth time can cause impact on eighth sublord. Increase in the birth time can have impact on the 12th sublord. Both are important. And what else? Then second cuspal sublord also not in border. So now we could see that 12th sublord is in the border, and by increasing 1 minute, it can change. By decreasing 1 minute, 8th sublord can have impact. Let us check that one. So we have to keep it in mind. These 8 and 12 cuspal sublords in border, by adjusting 1 minute plus and minus will have impact on any one of these sublords, but not on the other cuspal sublords, right? So now what we have to do, having seen this, what we have to do, we have to look at the period in which Dasa Buddhi Antara, the native would have got traveled abroad. So 2009 October is falling in which period we have to study. Now let us go to the Dasa Navigator. Go to Dasa Navigator. So if you go to the Dasa Navigator, where you can enter the date in select date period and find the Dasa period, or we can go to the check the navigator tree and find the date also. 2009 means it is falling under the Venus Mahadasa. 2009 is falling within the Saturn Buddhi, and 2009 October is in the Venus Antara. So October is 3rd October 2009 to 14/4/2010, that Venus Antara is falling. So if the native was, traveled abroad, the native has traveled abroad in this period, means that periods under which period the native traveled abroad for higher studies is Venus Dasa, Saturn Buddhi, and Venus Antara itself. Now, as per EPS, Venus under Venus Dasa, Saturn Buddhi has favored for the native for first to travel abroad for higher studies. That Buddhi Lord Saturn should be the strongest one. Venus Dasa should support, indicate for travel abroad for studies, and Saturn definitely should be strongest one in favoring the event. Under the Buddhi of Saturn, Antara Lord also should be supportive, right? So it means Saturn Buddhi should be the strongest one by ruling, by having got the role of the important favorable key planets in its rulers and also in supports. Now, Venus Dasa should support and Saturn Buddhi should be the strongest one. That we have to check first. First, we have to check the Buddhi, Dasa, then Buddhi, then the Antara. So let us check for the given time whether that native is capable of traveling abroad during this Venus Mahadasa and Saturn Buddhi. Let us check that Venus Dasa. I have selected the event abroad travel higher studies only. So let us go to the Venus Dasa. Let us check the Venus Dasa first. Look at the Venus Dasa. What are the houses required for travel abroad for higher studies? Of course, for traveling abroad, 3rd house, 9th house, 12th house, or definitely they should indicate. They are all supportive for traveling. And 9th house is playing role for travel also for studies. Along with that, for the purpose of study means definitely 4th house also will be playing role. And also if 11 also can play a role for the fulfillment of the desire. These are the houses that Dasa Lord, Buddhi Lord should be indicating. Now look at the Venus Dasa, 4th Lord, 9th Lord occupying 6th house, 3, 7, 11 star Lord, 4, 5, 7, 10, 11. They're all supportive for the higher studies, right? Venus is indicating supportive for higher studies. But it is not indicating strongly about the travel abroad, right? It is supportive. Fourth house also there, ninth house also there, and 3, 7, 11, and 4, 5, 7, 10, 11 also good. Look at the Venus second planet. That is Venus second planet is Rahu also occupying fourth house and 1 5 star lord. It is not having any third house or ninth house or 12th house in its significations. So it is supportive but not very strong, right? So as on its own. Now Venus in the star of Ketu occupying 10th house. This is also not indicating strongly. And Ketu represents Mars is 3, 6, 10, 6, and 12 sublord. So 12 sublord is there for the star lord of the Venus, but not at the, second level planet, that is star lord planet. It is not straight away present, but star lord's second planet is ruled by the Mars, 12 sublord. Then Ketu in the star of Mercury, 5, 8, 7, 2, 10, and 139. This is good. But it has played as the star lord of the star lord, not as the primary ruler. Still, it is supportive. And sublord is Venus, same thing repeated. And sub-sublord is because same planet is repeated. We can also check the sub-sublord. Rahu, again, it is coming 4, 1, 5. The role of Rahu is indicating something because Rahu is an important planet, Karaka planet for travel abroad also. But it is not having any ninth house or 12th house, and third house also not there, but it is having supportive houses. But overall, Venus Dasa is supportive for higher studies. Star level planet indirectly supportive for travel abroad because of the third house and 12th house. And the star lord of the star lord is talking about 5, 7, and 139 sublord. That way it is fine. Let us check because Dasa Lord can, if it is indicating it is enough, not required to be the strongest one, right? But here the planet which are repeatedly appearing is that Venus Rahu is repeatedly appearing, supportive for education, and Ketu Mars is 12th sublord that is also appearing. Let us check the Bugdi Lord, in which Bugdi the native traveled abroad. Traveled abroad is Saturn Bhukti. Let us check the Saturn Bhukti. Saturn is Lagna Lord, 12th Lord. It is good. Occupying 8th house, it is indicating some obstacles, but moving towards 6th Lord, it is fine. Saturn in the star of Rahu, being the Lagna Lord and 12th Lord, in the star of Rahu, occupying 4th house, 1 5 star Lord. So 1, 12, 8, 6 in the star of 4, 1, 5. It is one way it is supportive for studies in abroad also. Second planet Venus is also supportive for higher studies. But traveling abroad by source it is indicating star lord is not very strongly indicating, right? But supportive but not very strong. Star lord of the star lord is Mars is supportive. So the important key planet in the star lord also that Mars is acting as the second planet, but here it is acting as the secondary level, not in the primary ruler. If it was primary ruler, it would have been better, right? 12 sublord. And similarly, Rahu is the sublord. Sublord also the same planet. So if you look at the rulers of the Saturn 1, 12, 8 and 4, 1, 5 supported by this, supported by favorable, and again sublord also 4, 4, 1, 5. 4 is supportive for studies, but it is not strongly connecting to the studies in abroad. In the 12 level, it is indicating, but star level, it was not indicating directly. Okay, star level planet is fine. If it's star level planet through the star lord, it is connected also fine. But sub level should be good. Suppose sub level instead of Rahu, it was Mars. Yes, it is very good. But sub level also same planets, Rahu. So 1, 12, 4, 6, then 4, 1, 5, 4, 1, 5. This is not indicating very strongly. It is indicating something is lacking. But the native god traveled in the Saturn only. So in Saturn and again Venus, right? Venus Antra. But you look at that prior to that Saturn, that the native traveled abroad in Saturn period. Saturn period was running in her 25 years of age. Prior to that, Saturn, Rahu was running her 21, 22. By the time she would have completed her bachelor degree. So when she is completing the bachelor degree, Rahu would have been running. Rahu for star level is Mars is good and sub level also 2, 11, 9, 9 supportive. And that way that is also supportive for the travel abroad, right? For the studies. Source is indicated here. Star level supportive for travel, further supported by Mercury. But that did not support for the native to travel abroad. But travel abroad happened in the Saturn period. So it means Saturn should be the strongest one. So what way it can be? We already discussed, let us check the 12th sublord planet, which is in the border. Mars is the 12th sublord, right? And sub-sublord is Moon. Suppose by increasing by 1 minute, just we have to, before we do the rectification, we have to, imagine within ourselves, then what could be the change it can happen. By increasing by 1 minute, 12 sublord can change from Mars to Rahu. So what will happen then? If you check the Buddhi Lord, if you check the Buddhi Lord, what will happen? Mars will lose its 12 and Rahu will get the 12. Similarly, Rahu sublord will get the 12. Mars will lose its 12 sublord, right? Now, if you see this signification, Saturn 112 occupying 8, sixth star lord, in the star of your planet Rahu, occupying fourth house, talking about the studies, 1 5, it is also important for studies because it is knowledge and moving towards 12th sublord. It is supportive for studies in abroad, right? And further supported by the star lord of the star lord, 3, 10, 6, and star lord of the star lord, and the sublord also the same planet. So that way, that star level planet is very well connected. By 12 sublord it is present, it is very well connected, right? So when compared to the previous, sublord, 12 sublord for the given time, suppose 1 minute increase it is happening, then it is comparatively better. So that way we can think of doing that and increase the birth time by 1 minute and check it. Let us do that now. Let us go to the utilities, adjust birth time, and let us 1 minute increase and step. Now you can see 12th sublord has become Rahu. 9th sublord, there was no change. 8th sublord also, it was Sun only, there was no change. Because 1 minute increase changed the 12th sublord because it is in the end. Now you can see the Saturn. Saturn is now, it is comparatively better. In significations, Saturn, the star of Rahu, Rahu become the strongest favorable key planet for studies in abroad. And 12 planet is fine, sub-level is fine, everything is good. Right? Now let us check the Antara. Antara period is Venus only. That is the Dasa Lord also. The Dasa Lord also definitely should be favorable under the Rahu Bhukti. Sorry, under the Saturn Bhukti. How come that Venus Antara has made the native to travel abroad? Because then that Venus should be having the strong key planet of the Bhukti Lord. And also one of the important key planet. What is that? 9th sublord and 12th sublord. That is missing in the Saturn, right? If you look at the Saturn, Saturn is not having got the role of the Mercury. Why Mercury? If you look at the self-significator, 3, 9 cuspal sublord is Mercury. 5, 7, 2, 10, 3, 9. So 5 is good for education. 7 is supportive for 5 and also supportive for travel. Abroad. And 3, 9 is important houses for travel abroad. So now Mercury planet role 3, 9 sublord is not there in this Saturn. Suppose it can be there in supports also. If you check that Mercury in own sign, it is a lonely planet. No planet is in sign of Mercury. No planet is conjoined with the Mercury, aspected by Mercury. So Mercury role is not possible in supports for other planets. Now, the Mercury can play a role only for other planets by the rulers. Let us check whether that Venus is having got significations and also having got that, Mercury also. In the Bugdilad Saturn, the strongest favorable key planet is Rahu. So Venus is talking about studies, and second planet Rahu is supportive for travel in studies and abroad. Ketu also supportive. It is not bad. It is supportive, and the second planet is fine. And star lord of the star lord is Mercury has come. Mercury has come as the star lord of the star lord. Again, sublord is same, and star lord of the sublord is supportive. And you can look at the sub-sublord is Rahu. Rahu in the Dasa Lord is the strongest key planet for travel abroad for studies. In Venus, representing Rahu, it repeated. So definitely, it does not mean that in Rahu period, the native will travel abroad. But Rahu will be acting. Rahu and Venus will be acting as the primary ruler or important ruler for the Bhukti Lord. That is what happened in the Saturn period. Saturn in the star of Rahu and again sub of Rahu, represented by Venus, that Dasa Lord, and also Saturn also good 1/12 Lord, and it is supportive for the travel abroad. So that way, by 1 minute increase, now we made that period is comparatively better or strongest one in fructifying the event of that abroad travel. I think you are able to understand this now, right? So now, with the help of this one, we have done the rectification by just adjusting 1 minute. Does not mean that by just adjusting 1 minute we have fixed the birth time. With one event we have adjusted the birth time and fixed one. The 12th sublord is fixed and 9th sublord already is the same. And 8th sublord there is no impact. But by verifying the other events in future, important life events, we can further fine-tune the birth time by fixing the other respective cuspal sublords. We have to keep it in mind two things. One thing is that once we fix the sublord of the 12th house and 9th house, according to the event abroad travel, while we are adjusting the birth time for some other event in future, we have to keep it in mind. This should not be changed. Otherwise, every birth time, every event, we cannot keep changing, right? So we are fixing the cuspal sublord of the important cuspal sublord is the birth time rectification, right? So we have to keep it in mind. 12 sublord should be Rahu. That should not be changed. So the minimum birth time is instead of 1733, it should be 1734. It can increase also, or it can be the same. I think you're able to understand. Please understand, fixing the Lagna sublord or Lagna rule is not the rectification of the birth time. If at all the birth time is to be, even Lagna sublord, definitely we can also, adjust in while fixing the birth time. Suppose the Lagna related event, health or characteristics, all those things also definitely we can take along with the other events in fixing, fine-tuning the birth time. I think you're able to understand. We'll meet in the next example with some more events. Good luck. Thank you.